I'm going to be dealing with a lot of stuff I've never written about before. The stuff that Tom's going to be dealing with in his writing about is going to be, I think we're going to be somewhere between each part of the book will be 300 pages. So I think we're looking at about 600 pages total. So, when we say it's voluminous, I know, Tom, you say the same thing I do. I said, this is the last time I'm doing this, and I've learned that the word last only applies to us and not to God. He has a sense of humor. But this is a major undertaking. What I'd like to share, Doug, is if you look at the hub on a bicycle wheel, all the spokes lead right into that hub or the nexus of it. And I think that what God is going to do with the release of the book, with the release of the film, obviously documentary, is tie it all together. And if anybody's honestly looking at this stuff, and the quality, I'm telling you, is off the charts. Those of you who saw The Unholy Sea, and I would recommend everybody go to TrueLegendsTheSeries.com and get that. You'll need number 2 more than ever to understand number 3, though the information will stand alone. Let me make it simple. All the kings of the earth in the last 6 months have gone to Antarctica or Patagonia. Patagonia is named Land of the Big Feet, as in giants. They're going to meet with someone who an Admiral Byrd wrote in his diary before he was sequestered out of the public eye. The most famous polar explorer in history wrote about the king of the earth living in a subterranean kingdom with advanced flying craft and all sorts of conquering longevity, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is a critical point that people have got to understand. The tunnels that are under the desert southwest, the tunnels that go out of the Peruvian city of Cusco, the Coricancha, the Chincana. The Chincana is the tunnel, and the Coricancha is the convent, if you will, the giant cathedral over the tunnels. Why are the governments of the world so busy at covering it up? Well, they're covering up for one reason, because giants are coming, and as you've heard Tom Horn quote the Septuagint, to fulfill the wrath of God. And I want to read something, Tom. There's a movement in the Christian church that they're claiming that they're the army of Joel. Now, I don't pay any attention to nonsense, but someone said, do you realize that's going on? Let me tell you, it goes to Joel chapter 2, and I'm going to just read about 4 scriptures, 4 verses. This is talking about the supernatural army of God that he releases. And let me read this. Joel chapter 2, verses 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. Now listen to this. This is talking about the giant army that's coming. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. When they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows, okay? Like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun, the moon shall be dark. The stars shall withdraw their shining. Okay, I've read that a bunch of times over my life, but I never got it until just the other day. The other morning, I felt like I finally got understanding. And I felt, and take this to the Lord in prayer. I said, Lord, what is this all about? And he said, the genetic creations that Satan is creating and going to bring on the world scene will be met by that which I've already formed to combat them. Now, you can argue about, whether you believe this is true or not, but how many times you quoted Ezekiel's, vision of the dry bones, come from the four winds, O Spirit of God, and breathe upon these bones, when God asked Ezekiel the question. I don't think, Tom, that most people can embrace. I know they can't, okay? The only reason we can articulate and understand and hopefully help others to understand is because God's opened our eyes on this. But why is this critical? What does this have to do with salvation? The answer is everything. In the book of Revelation chapter 18, it talks about men trafficking in men's souls. Can I say something, Doug? well, of course, I'll say it anyway. It sickens me that such a lackadaisical approach from mainstream, Believianity, that's a new word for me, mainstream Believianity, isn't vomiting and crying out to God for His mercy, because even the human sacrifice of these little people, and I'm talking little human beings, even the blood, the gore, the cannibalism, the pizza parties with children's parts on the crust, the horrific abominations that Thomas just talked, and yet, can I tell you something? There's almost relative silence as big deal. It is a big deal. It's the biggest deal in the world, and yet the people would fight. Now, someone said, well, how do you know that's not human beings? Simple. All these guys march in their own ranks. If this were talking about Christians, man, they'd be having each one's sword against his brother, and there'd be nothing but a bloodbath. But here's the thing that I think, Tom, you talked about, that's really actually pretty true. They shall run like mighty men. And you've taught through the times we've been on the radio and written about it that even Nimrod began to become a Giborim. That's another word for a giant. You want to take it from here and go where you want? Look, we jump around a lot, but ladies and gentlemen, we're giving you, how do I say this, 6,000 years of recorded history. We're giving you 6,000 years of hidden history. We're giving you tidbits, and by the grace of God, and thank you for your prayers and your financial support. When you buy Tom's book or my book or our DVDs or whatever, you're helping us. And, it's amazing that we couldn't do this without, the listeners and the viewers. So I want to say our heartfelt thank you. And I've got growing military guys and guys with more stars than most people believe exist telling me that they've seen some of the bravest guys fighting these things. Now, you challenge me on this. You take it to the Lord and say, is He telling the truth? Who said that men's hearts fail them? They've watched the toughest guys in the natural literally die of heart attacks. So look, what's going to keep us? What's going to keep us is the supernatural power of God. But God is the Spirit of truth. And you cannot just turn your eyes apart from the slaughter, the wickedness, the horror, and say it doesn't matter to you. If it is, you're not my brother, and I'm not your brother. And you may ask yourself this, on Judgment Day, will Jesus say, depart from me, ye who work iniquity, I never knew you. This is serious stuff, Tom, and I got to say this. For a certain point, maybe we were entertaining to some people, maybe the mockers and the scoffers and all out there, but at a very near junction in time, I'm talking very near, people's hearts will start to fail them for fear. I'm talking normal earthlings, because this thing with Podesta, this thing with all of the gore, the Satanism, the human cannibalism, the human sacrifice, the blood vampirism, God knows, Father in heaven, I have run out of words. Only the Spirit of God can make known to people the reality of what we talk about.